We've been meeting here so long. Was all wrong. Well, welcome back, my friends, all to another rousing rendition. Choir Boy Outdoors. Now listen, this was a gift from Sabo. It is a William Collins. I believe it's a one-off, American made. I love William Collins knives, and I cannot talk about William Collins knives without talking about my dude Blackie Thomas. It's Thursday, November 21st. Blackie, as we're doing this video, is on his live, and I can't tell you what a great feeling it was seeing him back doing it. Sounds a little weak, sounds a little tired, but sounds good. Now listen, Blackie had a stroke, so I'm going to put in the description the GoFundMe. It's doing well. We don't know the bills that Blackie's going to face, so if you can give to Blackie's GoFundMe, man, please do that. At worst case, go watch a couple of his videos. It's worth your time. Now, we all know, or we know now that Donald Trump is the president-elect, and he mentioned during his campaign tariffs on Chinese goods. This video is going to be, we're going to touch on the tariffs that are coming, how they will affect Chinese knives. Now, here's the deal. There were points during the campaign, I believe, that he said up to 60%. Most people feel that it'll be about a 10 to 20% tariff on goods coming in. He had really talked about the 60% of China. Here's the thing, couple caveats to this video. First is this: I am not an expert in any of this. I am reading up on it, trying to understand it, see where I'm at with it. Not coming to you in that manner. This isn't me talking to you or at you or preaching to you. It's not what it is. It's a discussion. The other thing is this: I hate politics. I hate arguing about politics. We don't do politics, religion, or her. But this affects my passion. This affects our world. Does it not? It does, Gab. Okay. So here's the truth. We know tariffs are coming. Now, first term, there were tariffs, and I believe it was simply on the steel. Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong or just add to this conversation. By adding to the conversation, what I'm saying is we're not arguing. That's not what this is. I want facts and facts alone. I want a real discussion. First time it was on the steel. This time I believe it's going to affect pocket knives. So what's that going to do? It's going to up prices, not just on Chinese companies. Now I've read remarks, I believe, from We Company or statements from We Company, from Kaiser, and one more. And they all say the same shit as everybody's going to say. We're going to hold prices as long as we can, blah, 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 blah. Really, truly, honestly, it's not going to just affect those. It's going to affect any company in this country that brings in foreign goods when it comes to production. There's going to be several knife makers who bring in foreign products to make knives. It's okay. What's going to happen is this: we're going to see price increases across the board, and we know that, right? And again, not trying to be an expert, and this isn't even trying to get people's hackles up. That doesn't do any good. Arguing, I'm so over that shit. This isn't about arguing. What I want to address is the American knife makers. Now, not really the boutique makers, the small makers, but we're going to find out who really, truly, honestly, because we get screamed at to buy American because they're Americans and all this, and that's wonderful. Support the American worker. I was thinking about it today. So if I decide to buy only American, that means you guys, the knife guys who get a lot of advertisement off this channel for nothing, and before anybody says shit about a free knife, that's my time, my effort, my energy, and it doesn't bother me. You're hard-pressed to get free knives from American companies, so when you do, you enjoy it and you relish it, and yes, it's nice, and yes, I try to put in the work for it. But if we're going to do all that for you, are you then going to just support where I work? Because if we're putting food in American workers' mouths, then you're going to buy your aluminum rails and your fencing from me, right? I got a family to feed. That's what's going to happen, right? You know it's not. What's going to happen is this: one of two things. And I've saw this comment a lot. I've seen this comment a lot. How, well, of course, American knife makers are going to up their prices. Well, then hear this from old Scabberdoodles. it'll be 4 to 8 years of nobody buying shit or seeing knife companies tank, because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people fed the hell up with paying high prices to pay high prices. Now listen to me, and listen really, really, really good, because this is where a lot of people miss the boat. See, people think that folks only buy Chinese knives or any foreign knife because they're cheaper. That's why the American knife market's in the state it's in. That might be part of it, but the days of me growing up in the 70s and 80s and early 90s when all foreign products were crap, that's over. That's over. So where there were a lot of companies in America who could get by with putting out a half-ass product, but it was American and we were fighting the Soviets to buy America, that shit's out the window, right? So my thing is this. If you're going to knock my dick in the dirt with a price, you better knock the other dick in the dirt with quality. That's kind of my thing. And people somehow take that I'm anti-American knife. Listen, retard. American knife. American knife. American knives. American knife. Give me 1 second. American knife. American knife. And oh yeah, one last one. American knife. I have more American knives than anything else. I have more American knives. I counted them the other day, even more than I have Work Tough Gear, believe it or not. And here's the other side of it, guys. Work Tough Gear, for the 9 billionth time, is not an American company that outsources. It is a Taiwanese-owned company, and it is owned by a Taiwanese businessman, not an American company that outsources. It's a Taiwanese company. You say, well, it'll affect them too, Scap. I'm sure it will, but here's the truth. And this is the hardest thing for most Americans to understand. There's a whole big world out there that buys knives, right? I know we like to think the sun rises and sets on us. There's a whole world out there. Now, will it affect work? It will affect every company in the world. It absolutely will. It has to, right? So the other day, when I ask the American knife companies what it takes, why we can't get an affordable knife for the working man, I got a bunch of great answers, and you guys responded how I wanted you to. You gave some real answers. Now, here's the truth. I know why we can't. By the time an American business has to pay workman's comp, unemployment, your insurance, your taxes, the American worker's wage, shipping, all of that. When you have to pay all that, and you're dealing with all of that, and you're dealing with a competitive market against companies who, let's just be real, the government owns their companies, so all that other stuff goes out the window. We know that human rights and all that a lot of times are violated and not cared about. Now, that's just about every country in the world now, but that's a different video. So we know why, right? I knew why. You know how I knew why? Because since I was 15 years of age, I have worked on the books. I'm 53. You can do the math. For a lot of those years, I've been a helper. I started as a helper. I worked up to a supervisor. I spent several years in purchasing steel, tons of steel every day for a good bit of time. I understand industry. I understand how it works. I understand how it floats. I understand all that, right? I know the answer. My goal with these videos is to get the discussion, not to argue, again, that solves nothing. I've had several of you say, Scab, I think you should start your own night. No, that's not the answer either. Guys, I don't design knives. I don't want to have a knife line in production. I don't want to make knives. Because that takes away from, I love doing what I do. I love interacting with you, and I apologize. I know my interactions have dropped on the comments. I know it has, and I apologize for that. I'm dealing with some other things right now. I promise you but I see you. I appreciate you. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you. So my thing is, I got in 2 boxes. Billy and Courtney from Apex Alchemy, awesome people. A lot of love, a lot of respect for Billy. A lot of love, a lot of respect for Miss Courtney. Bob the Knife Junkie had Billy on one of his podcasts. Now, I'm not sure which one it is. I'll try to get a link and put it in the description. But Bob had 2 of Billy's knives. Billy had him send them to me. We're going to do our normal stuff. Now, this is the Raptora. And I wanted to do this conversation in conjunction with unboxing, because I've got another box from Randy's WSG, from Randy, who is an awesome guy. Randy's WSG, his mom, Miss Joy, is awesome. Love them both. So you got Billy and Courtney, Randy and Miss Joy. Please subscribe to them. This is going to be a longer video, but if you don't take anything else from this video, please subscribe to those folks. This, I believe, is the Raptora. We're going to go after these hard. Billy wants me to give him his honest, give him my honest opinion and honest feedback. I'm going to do that. I like the way this one feels in hand. You know, I have respect for Billy. He started making knives. He sold some knives and he stopped. He stopped selling them. For right now, he's going to work on his craft. He's going to get his skill set up, and then he'll go back to selling them. I respect that. That's why I get a little irritated, guys, with not, and it's not just the big knife makers. There's a lot of boutique guys who put out bullshit to put out bullshit because they know it's American made and there's value in that American made verbiage there. So people will buy it when it's shit. I am making it my mission. And again, listen to me. My goal in all of this is to help small businesses, to help small makers, to help small designers, to do what I can to help other people. Why? Tim asked me this. I was on Just the Tip. That is a podcast with Tim's School of Fish and Uncommon EDC. I'm going to try to put all of these guys in the description. And guys, if you happen to watch this video, comment on it so people can go to your channels. So I was on their podcast and we talked about this. We talked about quality. We talked about a lot of the things. Billy is going to work on his craft. Tim has a line of knives that a very good knife company makes. Jacob does his OEM. Jacob takes his time. If you do not have a knife from very good knife company, listen to me, get one. It's worth it. I'm telling you. He does all his own stuff. He does it by hand. Everything's outsourced American. Check him out. Not because it's American, because it's quality. Billy, let me encourage you. I love the way this feels, buddy. But let me encourage you. Have the same QC that Jacob has with very good knife. You'll be okay. Because you've got a knack for it, my guy. You do. This feels good in hand. This is the Raptora. Now, Bob sent me a letter. Big shout out to the Knife Junkie, man. Awesome guy. Just this guy right here, honest to God, is just a class act. The guy's just class. Donnie B. All Day, myself, and Joe from JS Bladecraft, who is my brother from another mother. Both them boys are. We met Bob. We ran into Bob over in Atlanta 2 years ago. He's just a class act. Now, Bob sent me a letter. I don't read these on camera. That's between us. And Bob, just so you know, brother, I have all the love in the world and all the respect. Bob is just a good guy. Just a good dude. I enjoyed meeting him and talking with him there. Now, this is, let me see what this one is. Billy likes naming them crazy, and I love Billy to death. This is the amygdala. Now, I believe Miss Courtney actually named this. This one was made in Jed Hornbeak's shop. This one I've had my hands on. I like this knife. And let me show y'all something. And I don't know how well you can see it, but take a good look at this knife. When it comes to fit and finish, now I've still got to watch Satu Daves, who's just another, again, this whole video, guys, is going to be heavy with shout outs, but these are all people you should be checking out. Trust me when I tell you that. I've got to check out Satu Dave's take on this because I respect his opinion. He knows his shit. When it comes to fit and finish, I'm sure there's some things and maybe grinds and details and nuances that Billy has to work on. When it comes to feeling good in the hand, the son of a bitch is right there. both of these, the ratatouille and the amygdala, they feel good in hand. And for me, that's a start. How does it feel? Again, I wanted to shine some light on some of these American guys. Now, how does this tie in? You say, Scab, this don't make sense. Yes, it does. I wanted some American-made knives by smaller makers on here when I did this talk, because we can tell a lot about where people are at. Now, when I did that other video, guys, one of the big answers why we can't get a decent American-made knife for a budget price, a lot of people say greed. Listen to me. Listen to me. Living in this country, being free how we are, and you can take that however you want. Let me explain something to you. We live in a day and age where we can get on here and literally say whatever we want about the leaders of this country. Whatever we want. Run them in the damn ground. And that we're not going to jail. We can say and do whatever we want. So all this other bullshit about, I'm not going down that road. This is why I don't do politics. But what I'm telling you is this. This knife world deserves good quality. We deserve quality products at good prices. I wouldn't begrudge a man making his money for anything. You're not going to tell me what I can make it work. I'm not going to tell you what you can make it work. But this is going to be a good opportunity to see who's willing to put their money where their mouth is. Honey, if you need to screw that in, go ahead. Meg's hanging blinds. I offered to help. She said no. Here's another amygdala. But we're going to see. How are we going to see, Scab? Because all these guys who always say, well, everything's totally 100% American made. If it's totally 100% American made, then the tariffs aren't going to affect you. So your prices shouldn't go up. And in my mind, and I could be wrong, and again, if I'm wrong, just say, Scab, listen, this is why you're wrong. I'm not going to be mad at that. The guys, the companies who have to bring stuff in from other countries, I can tell you their prices are going up. When the tariffs hit, they are. They're not going to absorb that. They may be nice. They may be your buddies. They may be your pals. They're nice to you because you buy their knives. They're not taking a loss. But we will find out on all these American companies who everything's American. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what you do with your pricing. The amygdala. And again, I am not against anybody making money, man. This one, I believe, is G10 handle scales, and that might be a different material. This one's red and black. I absolutely love this one immediately because of the red and black. Speaking of red and black, Joe X is running a raffle for Blackie Thomas. I am a big Joe X fan. Don't believe me? Dude's a brother, an awesome guy. Go to Joe X's channel. It'll be in the description. And I know that I'm talking and then shouting people out and all that stuff. That's just the nature of my videos. Tomorrow, I'm working on that BK2 and Magna Cut video. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing after we do these unboxings. But we're going to see. We're going to see how those tariffs affect. Now, let me say this too. I do know, I was talking to Emler the other day. He's got a couple of, he was so excited, or he is so excited, because he's got a couple of, he's got a couple of his pocket knives that's coming to fruition. And he's like, it figures now there's going to be tariffs on my stuff coming in when my designs are going through. It is going to affect Americans. It is going to affect their businesses. Every single guy, and I want to shout out Casey from Knives Fast. I love Casey. He's an awesome dude. He has Tempest blades. A lot of his stuff he brings in from overseas. His stuff is made overseas and brought in. His prices will go up. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And people say, well, they should have them made in America. Well, you know, I've never talked to one of these guys, not Lefty with Devo Knives, love Lefty, Emler, Casey. I've never talked to any of these guys with these companies that have stuff overseas brought in, Rosecraft, any of these guys that said, we just said, screw it, we didn't even ask. Most of these guys have gone to a lot of American companies. You can't, I'm not going to begrudge a man a dream. So if they can have their knives made and see it become a reality and it's a well-made knife, I'm not going to fault them. I'm not going to do it. We get distracted by a lot of things. Well, it's slave labor. Do you know how many sex slaves there are in this country? Come on now. I mean, this isn't to be argumentative. This is to develop a conversation, because the next little bit's going to see one of two things. We've been in the golden age of knives. It's either going to bust, it's either going to die, or as a group, knife companies and American knife companies, whether you like YouTubers or not. And listen, from that standpoint, I get it. A lot of knife companies have been screwed over from guys in the past that people try to take advantage. It ain't that, and I know people may still try it. There's a lot of us that don't want free shit for the sake of free shit, right? I'm just being honest. I seen a comment the other day on Instagram, and it's some ass clown. And and I'm not trying to be vague, because if I could remember his name, I'd say it. But he was responding to, I think it might have been Super Steel Steve had done a talk, and this guy responded to Steve and said, well, I've got nothing for him. I don't need, knife YouTubers. All they want is something for free and blah, blah, blah. And just gets on this soapbox. I went and looked at your shit, my guy, just in case you're watching this. And if I can remember your name, I'll say it. Rest assured, son, nobody wants free anything from you. Now, I'm not talking about Steve. He does a great job. He makes great knives from what I understand. I think I'm going to be able to test one of his soon from Frank or from Timbo. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm not talking about Steve. I'm excited to test this stuff. But this other dude, bro, your stuff's shit. So quit patting yourself on the back. See, that's where people get aggravated. See, if you make good quality stuff and you worry about you'll be able to charge what you want. You will. Why? Because the quality's there and you're focused on your customer. It's when it's this idea that we just have to buy shit because you were born here. Sorry, my guy. I said in the other video, I'm saying it now. I don't give a shit if George Washington made a $5 knife. If it sucked, I don't want it. There's a lot of moving parts to this. We're about to see rising prices. It's going to happen. It's probably not going to be like this. I don't want to do this like some kind of big fear monger thing where, oh my God, I don't want to do that, because we don't know until we see it. But I do want to be realistic. We're going to see rising prices. We better see from an American side and a rise in quality control. If you're going to bump your prices, and this goes for China, USA, Taiwan, anyway, if you're going to raise your prices and all that, you best raise your quality control. Now, there are a lot of knife companies out there that are spot on. A lot of them. A lot of them. But I've said this, and I'll say this, and I'll open this package from Randy and Miss Joy, and then we'll wrap it up. One of the things is this, and I'll use my own self in this. This channel, I've been around for about 4 years. We've done really good. We've done really good in 4 years on here. Pretty good numbers, pretty good views, that kind of thing. And most of I'll be honest with y'all, most of my views and numbers come from short-term content. I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy all content, but it just seems like the short-term stuff, or the short form stuff, not term, short form stuff, seems to land better with folks, right? And I am blessed beyond measure to have the channel be doing good. I am blessed that I have an endless supply of knives. I am blessed that if I need something, if I need a knife to review, I can get it. I'm fortunate. So in this discussion, that's why I'm doing it. I feel like even from a knife tuber standpoint, I sit in a unique position. While I'm blessed to have worked here in Rosecraft, and K-Bar just sent me that BK2 and Half Breed and all these and on and on and on. Jack Wolf. There's probably 6 or 7 companies that send me things that I am very, very appreciative for. But I started this channel with my money and my knives. Kirk and Jimbo, they live within 2 streets of me. They got knives. I started this company this channel using R3 knives, if that makes sense. Why am I saying that? Because if nobody ever sent me another knife, I still got knives back there that I bought when I started this channel that I haven't reviewed. I'll be fine. So I sit in a different position. I'm not sitting in a point of judgment. I don't want to. I'm not sitting from a standpoint of I'm better than anybody. I don't want to. I am in a unique position, and I understand that. I have friends on both sides. I have friends who buy exclusively American. I respect that. I have friends who buy other brands, other countries. I respect that. Say, Scab, that's a fence runner. No, it's not. No, it's not. You know what it is? It's a man who understands that other men and women work. It's their life. It's their money. They'll spend it how they see fit. and it's none of my concern how they spend it. That's what I see. See, my main problem with a lot of this crap is this. It's not that I'm against USA knives. I love USA knives. Love them. I'll carry them all weekend. Love them. I just know that having worked on the books for 37, 38 years, I have from that mindset of earning my money, other people earning their money, I'm not telling you what you can carry. I'm not going to do it. I'm curious to see the thoughts in the comments. Again, there's going to be a lot of people affected by this. Now, this isn't a, I don't want this to be a clickbaity video. I don't want this to be a gaslighting video. I don't want this to be, I want it to start a conversation. Why not? Joe and I are probably going to delve deep into this on a Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. Now, this box was sent to me by Randy from Randy's WSG. This is a knife. Now, if you guys will pardon me 1 second, because Randy had a buddy who made a knife out of a file. Okay, this is a farrier's rasp. Okay, so let me just read this, okay? If you guys don't mind. To whomever may hold this knife is made from a farrier's rasp donated by the farrier who shoes our horses. It is hardened to 56 to 59 HRC. The blade is a full flat ground to 3.8 degrees, and the edge grinds are at 25 degrees, which will be good for what I'm going to use it for. The jimping on the thumb ramp is a remnant of the cutting edge of the file. The handle scales are OD green burlap, Ultrex micarta. The pins and lanyard tubes are brass. I made the lanyard bead. I did not make the sheath. The sheath will work equally well, left or right-handed. I believe that's the sheath that's there. If I'm not mistaken, Randy himself made this sheath. If you think you might break the knife during testing, just catch it on camera. Just so you know, guys, if you're a knife maker and you send me something to check out, everything's on camera. Everything. If you feel the edge needs to be touched up before sending it to the next person, please do so. Feel free to keep one of the stickers. Thank you. Please use the knife as if it was your own. That means a lot to me. I look forward to hearing your honest feedback. Oh, you'll get it. Thanks, Eric. Now, I'm not sure Eric's last name. I'm not going to read off his email, but this was made by Eric. There will be more details. Let's take a look. These are cool to me. I don't know why. I don't know. I wasn't going to say anything because I always get accused of loving everything. But I guess working in an industrial setting, using a bastard file, using files, these things just kind of, they resonate with me. Now, it feels good in hand. We're going to find, I don't want to say too much about it, how it feels or anything until we test it out. I am going to test it out. Everything will be on camera. That looks a little thinner than a 25. And I'm not saying he's not telling the truth. I'm wondering if somebody reprofiled it. Let me see. And I know this isn't scientific. It's just kind of the way I look at things. I don't know. We'll get into it. It looks slicey as hell. Pretty good thickness. I like the feel. Randy, dude, thank you for sending this to me to check out. I'm super stoked. Eric, thank you for allowing me to check it out. If you guys want me to send it to somebody else and you're a knife reviewer, just put Scab, I'd like to check it out next, and we'll see about that as long as they say it's okay. Randy made me this slip. Randy, WSG, is just a good dude. Now, I want y'all to know something. When I look through these boxes like this, it is not, I'm not like a kid, like, is that all? I just don't ever want to leave anything in there. I've done that before and I felt like an asshole. Randy, dude, I appreciate this. I've really got to where I enjoy carrying these slips. Here's the sheath that Eric sent with it. We'll keep it in the one Randy sent. Thank you, Tucker. Tucker's saying I've talked enough, and I have. Listen, I love you guys. Please put in the comments how you think the tariffs will affect us, how they're going to affect, will they affect anybody you know? Add to it. If I've left something out, put it in. If I have, put it in. Guys, there was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. Now, stats are everywhere. We know they are. That's why here on this channel, we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. Vets, we love you. Man, you have a place here. That's all that means. Guys, I back the blue. That's one of the most misunderstood things that I do on here. I have my reasons. I am for accountability, however. Let me be very upfront with that. I don't argue with you about the back the blue thing because people say, well, back the blue till it happens to you. It happened to me more than it'll happen to you. I take a good look. But a lot of it's my own fault. Finally, if you are an addict, and I am, never quit quitting. Real quick, guys, I've got to get a review out on this. This is the Topps Mac 7. I love Topps. I just do. So when I do these videos, I'm not shouting out or trying to be an asshole to American companies. It is important for me. This is my heart. This is my passion. This is my hobby. I have a job. So again, I sit in a little different seat. I want to support American made. I want to help American made, but I want it to be fair across the board. I want it to be a two-way street where the average guy who busts his nuts or average chick who busts their butt to make a living can buy a knife. That's not too much to ask. I'm Scab. You're not. Love y'all. I'm gone, son. The old fork and knife. Look at that piece of artwork there. There's